stopping me?
Are you okay?
No stopping now.
Our taxes are returning less and less every day, and the harvests have taken quite the hit too.
Indeed, my lord, but our subjects' cries grow louder by the minute. They claim to be on the brink of survival as it is. If perhaps we lowered our tariffs.
And bring in less provisions? I'll have you hanged for even suggesting it. Under no circumstances are you to slack on collections. Do you hear me?
But, of course, my lord, I meant no offense.
And should I find the larder ever goes empty, you'll be the next dish to cross my table.
I understand.
Lord Gaston! What is it now?
Rebels, my lord. And they've set up camp nearby.
Surely the liberation come to liberate my pantry. Mobilize all soldiers in our command. I'll teach these rats what becomes of those who infest my kitchen, and I'll do so personally.
Then we depart at once.
Before all that, I'll need a hearty meal to steel my resolve for the battle ahead.
I do not mean to question, my lord, but did you not dine on an extravagant plateful only an hour past?
I should remove your tongue for such insolence. You expect me to charge to war on an empty stomach? Or perhaps you'd rather I starve to death, shriveling to nothing while the enemy feasts around me?
Perish the thought, my lord. I'll send for the culinarian at once.
If they plan to wrest this food away from me, they'll have to prize it from my cold, dead fingers.
Be ours. Merely say the word. Consider it done. I ride for Cornea. What shall I do? I depart.
They will know what hit them. Ready. On it.
We march. To me. Looks like I win.
I stand ready. Sir.
I'm prepared for anything. I ride at once.
I'm ever in your service.
Yeah!
The time is at hand. The path is set.
Sure thing. You got it.
You're nothing. My training's paid off. Victory is ours. Nowhere is too far. At once.
Wasn't even a challenge.
Face me and be cut down. I did it! No mercy. I stand ready. Sir.
Do your worst.
Your village... I shall never fail.
Prepare to be run through.
Embarrassing.
Well then. Naturally.
Ready. Yes, sir.
I'll prove my worth. I depart.
How can I assist? Consider it done.
To me.
Face me and be cut down. Higher still. My griffin needs a rest. Nowhere is too far.
Do your worst.
Yeah! I can help.
Never in doubt.
One thrust of the lance is all I need. Prepare to be run through. I'm prepared for anything.
Stand before me.
One thrust.
I shall never fail. I'm ever in your service.
All done. Sure thing. You got it.
Prepare yourselves. I shall never fail. A worthy foe. I'll prove my worth. It shall be done. Prepare yourselves. 'Twas fate which brought us here. I shall never fail.
Thanks.
Not good!
A flawless victory.
You impressed?
I'll not let this go to waste. I can ride no further.
How can I assist?
The time is at hand. The path is set.
Merely say the word. I ride at once.
Stand before me.
No more hurting.
I require a respite. I fight on. For now. I grow weary.
Do your worst. Might I give my steed a rest? I'm prepared for anything.
I fight on. For now.
I'm up. Yes, sir.
I've arrived. Great honor. We march. Excellent.
Fine choice.
We march. Onward.
How can I assist? Consider it done.
I'm ever in your service.
Yeah!
I stand ready. Understood.
One for the good guys.
I'll take it off your hands. At your service.
Service of the royal... I'll not fail you. By your word. Come. the liberation.
I stand ready. At your service.
Time to earn my keep. We'll see how tough they are. On it. We're outmatched.
Gaze upon the face of your demise. I have you! I fight in me yet.
So? Yep.
Awaiting your command, as you wish.
Ready. You got it.
The time is at hand. The path is set.
I'm prepared for anything. How can I assist?
What shall I do? I depart.
I have arrived.
I'll cut clean through them. What a joke. You see that? Never stood a chance. Just let me fight already. On it.
I stand ready. At once.
Take a look at that. So, I'm up. On it.
I'll not fail you. By your word.
What now? We'll see how tough they are. Yep.
At your service. Understood.
I'm ever in your service. It shall be done.
Merely say the word. Consider it done.
No mercy. Better keep this going.
I shall never fail. A worthy foe. Stand before me.
Getting stronger by the day.
'Twas fate which brought us here.
You're nothing. Dead and buried. Nowhere is too far. Sir.
Ready. Yes, sir.
Onward.
perilous battle indeed.
One thrust of the lance is all I need. I'm prepared for anything. Do your worst.
Stand before me!
Prepare to be run through. How can I assist? My steed is swifter than the wind.
I'll be taking that. Done. I stand ready. Understood.
Prepare yourselves. Victory!
Awaiting your command. Come.
I've much room to improve.
A trivial undertaking.
Nowhere is too far. At once.
I shall hold nothing back. I'll not fail you. As you wish.
No mercy.
Merely say the word. Consider it done. One thrust of the lance.
You're nothing.
Prepare to be run through. 'Twas never in doubt.
Gaze upon the face of your demise.
Do your worst.
I shall hold nothing back.
Regrettable.
Stand true! Glory to the liberation! My steed demands rest.
How can I assist? My steed is swifter than the wind. A simple matter.
Come. Fatigue has struck. Awaiting your command.
I'll prove my worth. Yeah!
Prepare to be run through.
What shall I do? It shall be done.
Face me and be cut down. I did it! A little stronger every day. I have to catch my breath.
Your orders, sir.
Sure thing.
My gratitude. I'll prove my worth.
I'm up.
What shall I do? I depart.
You'd better run. Too easy. Barely worth my time. Just let me fight already. So? Uh-huh.
We march. To me.
I stand ready. Nowhere is too far.
Sure thing. You got it.
I'm ever in your service. It shall be done.
You're better than I thought. Wasn't even worried.
I'm up.
Like you read my mind. We'll see how tough they are.
Come then.
One of the many benefits of old age.
A fine bout. Your villainy ends here. Well fought. The time is at hand. The
path is set.
'Tis ours now.
We march. To me.
On it!
The time is at hand.
One thrust of the lance is all I need. I must pause for now.
Gaze upon the face of your demise. I shall hold nothing back.
Keep getting sharper.
What would you ask?
I shall never fail.
I can ride no further.
Nowhere is too far. Understood.
Ready. Yes, sir.
Onward.
Stand before me.
Come then.
Go on then. A temporary fix. I'll freeze you solid.
A fine job. We march.
I'll not fail you. By your word.
Just let me fight already. On it.
This one's mine.
I shall never fail.
You don't stand a chance.
In service of the crown.
No stopping now.
What shall I do? Merely say the word.
The time is at hand.
I
Stronger
can do
than
this.
ever.
Awaiting your command. Very well.
We march. The path is set.
No mercy.
None shall ever pillage my larder.
Over here! My training's paid off. I stand ready. At At your service.
Gaze upon the face of your demise. For the liberation.
I'm up. On it.
We'll see how tough they are. Yep.
You face me.
Face. I'll cut clean through them. Too easy.
I'm actually getting better at this.
You should have run.
What a horrible way to go. My precious stores, all left to rot.
Those stores are the bread you stole from the very people you were supposed to protect, glutton.
You truly know nothing. I only sought to gird our reserves for the impending famine.
Famine? How do you mean?
Look around you. This ceaseless strife will bring shortages, sure as the snow in winter. And survival will only greet those prepared. Promise me something, Prince. If you do take the crown, see to it that your people never have to go hungry. As a child, I knew far too well the endless gnawing that could befall an empty stomach. 'Tis a feeling I'd like not to greet again. Though, yes, I suppose I've already taken my last bite.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right place. Be seeing you.
Here to shop? Or maybe to sell? Just say the word and it's yours. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Come back soon. truly an honor, Your Majesty. I am Miriam, humble servant of the Knights of the Rose.
Your order answered directly to my mother, yes? But I fear I don't recall ever meeting you. I hope I've not offended.
You've not. 10 years past, I was but a squire, and in no position to have made your acquaintance.
Ahem. And what of Kitra?
She went ahead to scout the city, but we've since lost contact. In sooth, I worry for her safety. Times such as these make me thankful for Fran and her griffin. They have taken wing, and scour the ground as we speak.
Then we may leave the search to her. But what about us, my prince?
Joseph has readied an encampment in a nearby field. We make for battle as soon as preparations allow it. And if Renaud is truly bound by the same magic Hodrick was, the ring should release him with little issue. Now come, Euclid awaits, and Scarlet with her.
brat, aren't you? Can't run far like that, though.
I really messed this one up.
What?
You alright?
I am now, thanks. I made it into the city no problem, but it wasn't long till they caught me snooping. I turned back and a swiped key later, though, and I was out of there. At least, until they nabbed me again. Anyway, there's no time. I don't know what it is, but something's happening in there. Something big. They've got soldiers crawling all over the place. Some of them even got shipped in from the capital.
We'll alert Miriam at once. But first, we should get out of here before more of your friends decide to emerge from the shadows.
I've brought the girl, my liege.
And I a moment too soon. The sanctuary and its accursed seal await.
Then the hour is upon us?
Whatever treachery you're planning, I won't be a part of it.
Mind your tongue if you wish to keep it, child. You stand before the glorious Emperor of all of Fevrith.
Pay her no mind. She'll greet death's cold embrace soon enough.
Then allow me the honor of introducing them when that time comes.
So be it.
Lord Renault, I bring urgent word. Speak.
It's the rebels, my lord. They gather at our gates this very instant.
Seems our sellswords weren't quite as indomitable as they claimed. You're dismissed.
My business at the sanctuary will demand time. See to it that I'm not interrupted.
Yes, my liege. Not a single rebel shall be spared my spear.
Please be safe, Elaine.
Be ours. I ride for Cornea. I'll ride any distance.
They won't know what hit them.
My steed is swifter than the wind.
Prepare yourself.
It's not looking... Come then.
Do your worst.
You face me.
My magic is yours. Grant them succor. Winter. Be safe.
We march on.
One thrust of the lance is all I need.
A toast to strength.
Naturally.
On it! I'll prove my worth. It shall be done.
At your service. At once.
Do your worst.
Your villainy ends here.
I'm here to help. Ice! I'm here to help.
Good. You face me.
Prepare to be run through. My lance grows ever sharper.
I can't wait for my next fight.
Was never in doubt. Merely say the word.
To me.
How can I assist? Consider it done.
Sure thing. Yes, sir.
No mercy. My training's paid off. It seems you've misjudged me. Nowhere is too far. Understood. You're nothing. Victory is ours. I stand ready. At once. Standing by.
Service of the royal... I'll not fail you. Very well.
Ready. On it. I shall never fail. Victory!
Gaze upon the face of your demise. Come.
Do your worst.
Gaze upon the face of your demise.
A joke.
Glory to the liberation! A trivial undertaking, awaiting your command. By your word.
Merely say the word. I ride at once.
Prepare yourselves. Stand before me. A worthy foe. What shall I do? I depart. I shall never fail.
Nowhere is too far. Understood.
Stand before me! I can ride no further. I'll prove my worth.
Your villainy ends here. You face me. Come then.
Go on then.
Not looking great.
A temporary fix. I'll freeze you solid. Yeah. Huh.
A fine job. You face me.
My magic is yours. Grant them succor. Ice. Be safe.
We march on. I've need of a rest.
Sure thing. Yes, sir. Prepare yourselves. I require a respite.
Your villainy ends here. My legs grow heavy. You face me. I've need of a rest. Your villainy ends here. My legs grow heavy.
How can I assist? My steed is swifter than the wind. Prepare to be run through.
I'm up. You got it.
Merely say the word. I ride at once. Order complete.
You face me. I must never yield.
I move forward in the light of the
I've
divine.
need of a rest. We march. Come then. My legs grow heavy.
I'm prepared for anything. My steed is swifter than the wind.
No mercy.
Better keep this going. Higher still. Dead and buried. At your service. At once.
Quite troubling.
I fight on. For now.
I'll not fail you. Very well.
You face me.
A little closer to my former
I need
strength.
of rest. I fear for our safety. My legs grow heavy.
You don't stand a chance. Told you I'm awesome.
Merely say the word. How can I assist? Merely say the word.
Defeat will soon be upon us. I've need of a rest. The time is at hand. Stronger than ever. We march.
I'm in their firing range.
I'm prepared for anything.
Sure thing. Yes, sir.
'Tis a deficient plan. My legs grow heavy.
One thrust of the lance is all I need. 'Twas never in doubt. I'm in rough shape. I ride at once. Shall I push onward, or make my... This doesn't bode well. Consider it done.
I'm up.
The time is at hand.
Sure thing. I'm up. Stand before me. What shall I do? It shall be done. I shall never fail. Prepare yourselves.
Little bit of tricorn pride for you.
I'll not let this go to waste. Victory! I'll prove my worth. I depart.
Awaiting your command. By your word.
Face me and be cut down! I stand ready.
A fruitful venture, I hope. Stand before me!
What would you ask? Very well.
No mercy! I did it! Victory is ours. Nowhere is too far. Understood.
I've arrived.
Face me and be cut down! My griffin needs a rest.
Take a look at that. I'm here.
Prepare yourselves. 'Twas fate which brought us here. What shall I do?
Morale soars.
I'm in rough shape. I ride at one.
Sure thing. On it.
I depart for now.
Prepare to be run through.
I'm ready to hit something. Done and dusted.
I ride for Cornea.
In service of the royal family, awaiting your command. By your word.
I'll prove my worth. It shall be done.
No mercy! I have to catch my breath. I stand ready.
How can I assist? Consider it done.
Ready. Yes, sir.
prepared for anything. My steed is swifter than the wind.
I must stand strong. My griffin needs a rest.
We march. The path is set.
Order complete. Merely say the word. I ride at once.
Face me and be cut down.
Gotta keep getting stronger.
I have to catch my breath.
Come then.
One thrust of the lance is all I need.
You face me. Well fought. The time is at hand. To me.
What would you ask?
For the liberation. Path is set.
I'm prepared for anything. My steed is swifter than the...
I'm uneasy about this. My body aches. Sir. At your service. At once.
Your orders, sir. I'm ever in your service. I depart.
I've arrived. Merely say the word. I ride at once.
I'm up. Oh, sure thing.
I'm here.
Prepare to be run through. Was never in doubt. How can I assist?
Nowhere is too far. Sir.
One thrust of the lance is all I need.
Drinks are on me.
Naturally. This doesn't bode well. Consider it done.
What shall I do? It shall be done.
time is at hand. Onward.
At your service. Understood.
Keeping this. So, what next? I'm up. You got it.
I have arrived.
No mercy.
It would seem sparing your life at the harbor was quite the misstep. No matter. Extinguishing you now should more than remedy such a trifling oversight.
Over here! Be shielded! Come to me!
You'll be okay.
Better keep this going! 'Tis the fruit of my labor. I stand ready. At your service.
I'll prove my worth. Yeah! I've arrived.
There is time yet to claim victory.
Sir, at your service. Done.
To me.
I'm here.
We march.
I stand ready. Understood.
The time is at hand.
I shall
do
never
this.
know defeat.
At your service.
I draw my
Your
arrow.
choice.
Nowhere is too far.
We march.
I'll not fail you.
I'm in rough shape.
I'm here.
Your villainy ends here. Tell me where Scarlet is.
You're the wretched mutt from before, hmm? Well, my diminutive prince, I suggest you stifle your queries lest my spear stifle them for you.
I'm here to help. I'll freeze you. I'm here to help. It's up to you. A temporary fix.
Yeah.
Good.
stand ready. Sir. Face me and be cut down!
This cannot be.
No mercy!
Come then.
Go on then. Winter! Come to me!
A fine job.
At your service. Understood. Standing by.
You face me.
My magic is yours. I'm here to help.
We march on.
Another step forth.
One of the many benefits of old age. I wonder if I'm stronger than Lady Ocleus.
Victory grows ever closer. Any word of Scarlet?
None, Your Highness. We combed the city with all haste. And Renault?
Still unconscious, I fear. But the magic that clouded his mind has been undone. You may attend to him if you wish. I know the worry of a friend in danger all too well.
Thank you, my prince.
Your Majesty, we've word that Scarlet was stolen away to the ruins in the north.
By whom?
According to the report, Emperor Galerius himself.
What? Then we failed to keep her from him.
Hey, quit it with the gloom and doom. We can still catch them if we hurry.
Apologies. You're absolutely right. Come, let us hurry north to the ruins. We will rescue Scarlet, no matter what that takes. The time is at hand. The path is set. We march. To me.
Shall I push onward, or make my retreat? I ride at once.
Your order.
Done.
As expected.
Sure thing. On it.
We march. Onward.
Order complete.
I've arrived. To me.
What shall I do? It shall be done.
What would you ask? Very well.
I'm up. On it.
We march.
Nowhere is too far. I stand ready. At once.
I'm prepared for anything. My steed is swifter than the wind.
I shall never fail.
What fools you are to have followed me here. Prepare to be cleaved in twain by the axe of Galerius, ruler of all creation. Shrouded in darkness.
Thanks.
Decay. Agony away. Bear witness. My power seeds.
Nope. A flawless victory! I'm ever in your service.
Awaiting your command.
I'll prove my worth.
What would you ask?
Nowhere is too far.
How can I assist? Merely say the word. Consider it done.
The time is at hand.
Ready.
Awaiting your command.
I'm ever in your service.
At your service.
I shall bear no
Wind,
defeat.
it seems. I'll not fail you. What would you ask?
I'm prepared for anything. What next? How can I assist? Merely say the word.
I fear for our safety.
Blood,
A perilous...
Tis a
I shall...
This isn't gonna end well.
No stopping me.
Witness the gulf in our strength. Do not resist. Agony away. Destruction is nigh.
Healing! I can still fight!
Awaiting your command.
The time is at hand.
I just want to sleep.
You got it.
I fear for our safety.
The odds do not stand in my favor.
I'll not be disturbed. I'll show no mercy.
I must endure.
I'm done with you!
I'll not fail you. As you wish. I have my doubts.
Your time has come, wretched tyrant. And at long last, Queen Elenia shall know peace.
Shrouded in darkness! Decay!
With you!
Do not resist! Despair approaches.
Stand ready. Understood.
Perhaps a bit of caution. By your word.
How can I assist?
Quite troubling.
I fear for our safety.
Blood will be shed.
Stand before me!
I'll not be disturbed. Destruction is nigh.
I'll take that.
Give up.
The battle is ours!
I don't know.
Yes, sir.
This may prove perilous. As you wish.
'Tis a deficient plan. Such immense evil. Yet we shall never fold beneath its monstrous pressure. We've come to bring Scarlet home, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Witness the gulf in us.
I'm here to help.
Agony awaits! Despair approaches.
I'll freeze you.
Do not resist!
Be safe. A temporary fix.
Perhaps a bit of caution.
I grow weary.
It shall be done.
I have my doubts.
I fear for our safety.
Blood will be shed.
Defeat will soon be upon us. I fear for our safety.
I have my doubts.
'Tis a deficient...
I shall try my best, and yet... Blood will be shed.
Quite the challenge.
Defeat will soon be upon us.
Gray skies loom ahead.
Tis a deficient plan.
Quite the challenge.
I fear for...
I must stand strong.
Shrouded in darkness. Decay.
At once!
Agony awaits. I'll show no mercy.
I fight on. For now. I depart. I shall never fail.
I'll not be disturbed. Destruction is nigh.
Seems we've done it.
Don't even think about messing with me.
A worthy foe.
I actually did it. I only pray I'm not too late. Scarlet! What's happening here? Who are you? And what have you done to Scarlet?
You may call me Baltro. And it's quite the shame, child. But you've come too late. The last of the seals is broken, my liege.
Excellent. Yes. I can already feel the energy coursing through every vein in my body.
Prove that our synthesis with the Beyond grows ever closer.
What madness is this? You were slain! I'm certain of it!
This would have ended far sooner had that fool of a Pontifex only lived. But his daughter proved just as valuable in the end.
You mean to say Scarlet is...
The girl is of no further use to us. Do with her what you will. Assuming she still draws breath, of course.
I'll have your head for this!
A valiant effort, boy. But my newfound might has no equal.
Your grand machinations finally approach fruition, my liege.
Would that they not have taken 10 years to arrive.
I admit in times of weakness, I feared all our sweat and blood would come to naught.
We owe the girl an immense debt. Long have I awaited this very moment. At last, Zenoira's people will be released from the trammels of captivity that bind them. and I shall take my rightful place as their sovereign. Conjure a gate, Baltro. The capital awaits.
As you wish, my liege.
Arise, he who boasts the ring of the Unicorn.
Scarlet! Thank the Father. She still breathes. And she's unhurt at that. But how?
Heed my call, Ring-Bearer.
Who goes there?
One of the 6 great sages of Fedrith, or so her children called us once. But time for discussion runs short. Drawing you away from death's door took more energy than I have to spare. Now heed my words. You must take the ring to the land of elves and awaken the ancient power slumbering within.
I failed to understand your meaning.
Surely you felt the almighty strength Galerius now wields. In its current state, the ring would assuredly fail to stop him. Yet not all hope is lost. Usher the ring unto the Tyrannos of Erline, and there see it unbound.
But how?
I've spoken too long already. Let loose its true form and return to this place.
Wait, please!
Elaine.
Is it wise for you to be out of bed?
I'm all right. Thank you, Elaine, for everything.
'Twas nothing. All I ask in return is that you rest if you need it. The last few days have felt like countless moons.
I already told you I'm okay. It's just... I heard everything. Back at the sanctuary. Faintly, and through a fog of pain, but still clear enough. Galerius spoke true. Pontifex Errant is my father. I'm sorry for keeping it hidden. If anyone deserves to know, it's you. I only hope you can forgive me.
There is naught to forgive. Should knowledge of your birth be made public, it would only invite danger. You were not wrong to hide it. Beside which, I'm certain your father delivered you from Albion praying for your well-being above all else. Just as my own mother did with me.
I appreciate that.
If anything, that does answer a lingering question or two. From the day we first met, you were always...
Always what?
Complaining about how untidy the lodgings were, or how ill-equipped the cathedral was.
As if such a thing is my fault. My home in Albion was a grand estate staffed with dozens of servants, and our cathedral the greatest architectural marvel. All that besides, I was but a child when I was secreted away to Palavia.
I'm just teasing. It's good to see you've recovered enough to put up a fair fight.
I'd hardly call it fair.
In all seriousness, though, I don't wish to put you in harm's way any more than I already have.
I'm the one who invited that danger by keeping my birth hidden from you. And Galerius made it clear enough. I've served my usefulness to them. I doubt he and his cohorts will spare another thought on me. What I mean to say is, you needn't worry for my safety.
I'm staying with you, and I'll more than earn my keep.
And here I thought you were a second away from ordering a meal at Death's Tavern. That kind of fire, though, and you'll be the one doing the cooking.
I'd rather you didn't tease me, thank you.
Apologies for interrupting this tender moment, Your Highness, but I come bearing news. Princess Virginia has been sighted in the land of Drakenhold.
I'm sorry, who?
Niece to the departed Queen Elenia, and elder cousin of our very prince here. She had been lost to us a great many years. That is, of course, until now. It would seem she's taken refuge in the Dominion of the Dragons. Now, I'm certain your focus lies on the revelation you bore at the Sanctuary, and I cannot fault you for such. Yet, assuming these reports hold true, it would be unseemly of us to abandon the princess when she needs us most. Pray, consider redirecting your advance. This is the state of Fevrith at present.
A lot more purple than I'm happy seeing.
Indeed. We have much work ahead of us. But where to begin?
To the south, if you would seek Princess Virginia. Though if we hope to proceed into Drakenhold, we must first win back the crossing that once marked our border with them. Let us make for Mir Checkpoint, Your Highness, in the southeast reaches of Cornea. Alternatively, your revelation spoke of Elheim to the southwest of our lands. If you wish to reach its shores, we will have to traverse the Winding Wood, directly past the Witch's Swamp.
expect that out of you. But I'm not lying.
A mercenary of your caliber would prove a welcome addition in...
Mercy? Please,